Hello queens, angels, and goddesses. Welcome back to my channel. Warning: this contains boy love, and if you don't like it then please get off my channel. Water pistol. Grinning face with cowboy hat. Wah, I miss my bed already. I can't sleep when I'm still hungry. You had 3 heaping bowls of rice and still hungry? But that was 30 minutes ago. Aizuna couldn't take the hushed chattering anymore, so he shot up from under the comfort of his blanket. Shut up already, you guys, and go to sleep. Komori, no using your phones after lights out. Komori flinched from under his blanket, answering with a shaky hi as he put his phone down. Isn't it still early for sleep though? Someone said. And isn't this the perfect time to talk about our love lives? Another responded. You guys, Aizuna spoke again, shaking his head in disappointment. Practice will start early tomorrow. Why can't everyone else just sleep quietly like Saku? Aizuna, turning to Komori's and Sakusa's direction, couldn't continue what he was saying. Next to Komori was nothing but an empty futon. Where's Sakusa? Eh? Sakusa's missing? When did he go out? The Itachi players started sitting up, filling the room with their loudening chatter, eyes darting to Komori's direction for some deets. On the other side of the classroom were futons occupied by the Shiratorizawa folks, most of them sleeping soundly already, having to do individual practices after a whole day of intense matches. Wakatoshi's gone too, Tendao whispered, perfectly aware that Semi was still awake, too. Tendao lied in between Semi's and Ashijima's empty futon. Semi didn't respond, his face was crumpled in his futile attempt at blocking all the noise with his sheer willpower. He was tired, so he wanted to sleep, and he couldn't care less about their captain going out instead of resting, just like how he wanted everyone else. Our Wakatoshi is really having fun in this camp, isn't he? Tendao whispered again, but Semi remained silent under his sheet. It was only the first day of their joint training camp with Itachi, probably the last for their batch since they'll be graduating soon, and Tendao wondered just how far his best friend and the other ace had gone in their little secret. Ashijima always looked so happy whenever he talked to him about Sakusa that even without him saying it directly, it was easy to understand that the two were going out. Tendao closed his eyes and tried to sleep, too. Goshiki's snore sounded funnily out of place behind Aizuna's lecturing voice. I can't see a single star, Sakusa complained with a little pout, his favorite hanky spread out on the windowsill, his arm dangling over it. He would have sanitized the sill if he could, but his disinfectant spray was too bulky to carry when he crawled his way out of the large classroom the two teams were using to sleep. Beside him stood Ashijima, whose left arm was around his waist, lips glued to his head. He swore he could feel him breathe in the scent of his shampoo. Ashijima Wakatoshi had this unexpectedly sweet side to him that only Sakusa was blessed to see. And he wanted it to stay that way. They were discreet, keeping their relationship a secret for 2 years now. His cousin found out about it only recently, when Komori walked in on them making out behind an out-of-service vendo machine. Itachi had been proclaimed Inter-High champions, and the few schools remaining in the stadium was starting to leave. Komori was asked to look for Sakusa, as the bus was ready to pick them up, and found the two aces sharing a rather passionate goodbye kiss. Komori wasn't an innocent little baby, so Sakusa thought his reaction was exaggerated. It took them weeks before Komori could look him in the eyes again, and without his face turning into the exact same shade as a ripe tomato. Maybe someone from Shiratorizawa knew, too, but Ashijima wasn't saying anything. Sakusa wrapped his arms around his lover. With their almost matching heights, it was hard for him to bury his head on Wakatoshi's chest without straining the back of his neck. He learned over time that the trick was to keep their bodies a bit from each other, which Ashijima didn't particularly like. Apparently, Ashijima was a sucker for warm hugs, something he probably wouldn't admit but Sakusa discovered anyway. Wakatoshi would always let out such pleasured groans whenever they had the chance to cuddle. Sakusa hated physical contact, but he couldn't deny his precious boyfriend the skinship he so desired from him. Because it was cute. Ashijima was cute. Ashijima would surely frown at him if he voiced that thought, though. Ashijima cupped his face and started kissing him square on the lips. Sakusa raised his hands, wrapping his arms around his neck, urging him to go deeper as he willingly opened his mouth. The last time they saw each other was during the national tournament, and that was already a long time ago for the both of them. Sakusa let Ushijima take the lead in their slow kiss, sucking in the flavor at the tip of Ushijima's tongue that wasn't mint. He tasted like lemon, fresh and excitingly tangy. Sakusa wondered if Ushijima liked the hint of bubblegum from his new toothpaste, too. Ushijima pulled back a bit, kissing the space between his thick brows before pressing his own forehead with his. The way his hands rubbed against his hips was amazing. He really liked it whenever he touched him. Damn, he couldn't wait to marry this man in the future. Should we go back? Ushijima whispered in his mouth and Sakusa drank the freshness of his slightly cool breath. It had an awesome contrast to how warm his hands were against his skin. We need to rest properly for tomorrow. Sakusa hummed to hint he was thinking, but it sounded more like a whine. Maybe he really wanted to whine, not getting enough time to monopolize Ushijima. He went back to leaning his head against Ushijima's chest. You think they are all asleep? He felt his boyfriend shrug his shoulders. Maybe we should stay here a bit more and go back when it's safer to sneak in again. He smiled. Yeah, let's do that. Ushijima kissed his head again, and Sakusa raised his face to meet his mouth. It was a little over midnight when they decided to sleep. Thankfully, everyone was asleep when they returned, but that didn't mean Sakusa was safe from Aizuna's lecture the following morning. Warning: this fanfiction does not belong to me, neither does the fan art. Credits to the original artist and author to the fan art and the fanfiction. Haikyuu does not belong to me either. Well, bye children, smiling face with hearts.